So thank you very much, Rose Leslie, for picking that.
Oh, my pleasure. Good. I'm so happy that you approve.
I would not have put you down as a Dire Straits fan. I don't know why.
Well, do you know what? I think this just literally harks back to childhood. So this is Dad kind of like ramming the tunes down our throats as children. And Walk of Life will always transport me like in a millisecond back to a very, very fond memory of mine. And so as a result, I will listen to it, and then no matter what, I just perk up.
Isn't it wonderful how music does that? It's like a time machine, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it really, really is. Some wonderful kind of like connotations are attached to some pieces of music, and yeah, it's wonderful to tap into.
Yeah, it can almost, and it can be so intense as kind of smells and you know, if you're in if it's from a warm country, you know, warmth and things like that, and people and places.
Yeah,
and
food as well. Yeah. And you remember kind of like what you were eating at the time. Yeah, that's brilliant.
Your other choices, I have to say, equally fabulous.
Oh, thank you. See, I didn't want to try too hard.
Well, you've done great. It's what we play, which is brilliant. So, you know, I think you should be listening to Virgin Radio more often.
I do. Thank you very much.
M83, tell me about this track, why you like that.
So M83, so particularly with Midnight City, I was introduced to this track through my boyfriend, and in a very similar way of it being such a powerful kind of intoxicating track, I was in Iceland, and we had met, and we were working on a job together, and we connected with it, and it was such fond memories are associated with that one track. And so as a result, in a similar way, I just kind of like love listening to it and get very kind of like soppy and happy.
Are you trying to tell me that this is John and Egret's tune?
This is literally John and Egret's tune. I mean, yeah, exactly. We hijacked it.
This would have been their first dance. That would have been amazing.
Under the stars. Yeah, exactly.
All right, Midnight City, M83 as picked by Rose. Wonderful. Bears Den, Above the Clouds of Pompeii as picked by Rose, who's still with us, Rose Leslie. You're a big Bears Den fan. You saw them live recently.
I did. So they were playing at Hammersmith Apollo a couple of days ago, maybe about a week ago now, and it was a sold-out gig, and they were, I mean, fantastic. I'm kind of obsessed with them to a point. I also saw them in Williamsburg. Wow. When they were touring America. Yeah. And so, I can't get enough of them.
Have you got a record player?
I don't. Oh, no. Oh, no.
It's going to give you their album on vinyl.
Oh, no.
Do you know someone who does have a record player?
I think I might buy one now.
There you go.
Oh, my days. Edith, thank you so much. Oh, this is fantastic. Thank you.
Nice excuse to start getting vinyl. There you go.
Absolutely. Oh, my God, the sound. I've heard so much about vinyl.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. I watched your new TV show, The Good Fight, the first episode last night, which people can catch up on episode 1 or more for.
They can.
You play Maya Rendell.
I do.
And man, it's kind of like out the blocks straight away. She's thrown in the deep end as a young lawyer immediately.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's intense. You're absolutely right about that. I think that we kind of kickstart with seeing her as at the beginning of her career, let's say, whereby she's just taken her bar exam, she's passed, so she's incredibly elated, and then suddenly the rug gets taken out from underneath her feet, whereby her father is associated with a terrible Ponzi scheme, and so suddenly her world's turned upside down, and her career, her reputation, but also the kind of, we all innately put our fathers on pedestals, and then suddenly you realise that there is a serious amount of betrayal in that. So the poor woman is kind of grappling all of these different feelings and aspects, and it's all kind of thrown in the pilot, in the first episode.
Amazing female characters in this. Is so many to kind of, there's like 2 handfuls that you immediately see in the first episode.
Yes, which is fantastic. Yeah. And, that is something that the writers and creators of the show, Robert and Michelle King, they put women in the forefront, and they write beautifully for female characters, and 3-dimensional female characters. And you have Christine Baranski, who plays Diane Lockhart, who is just exquisite. And then you have Kush Jumbo, who plays Luca Quinn, who is equally brilliant. And so, you've got these very strong women kind of like leading the helm, and hopefully it makes for very captivating TV.
It really is, and you really kind of connect to them immediately. And I haven't watched the Good Wife, which it kind of sort of predates this in terms of that the creators are the same creators.
Yes.
And there's links with some of the characters that you mentioned anyway.
Absolutely, yes, you're totally right on that. So they bleed through. So you have some of the characters like Diane and Luca, who I mentioned, but also with The Good Wife, a lot of the judges that the viewers saw are also in our show, The Good Fight. And so it's very much a very similar universe, but we're now going to be exploring different avenues and being introduced to new characters and hopefully keeping it kind of like energized and fresh from that perspective.
We've got 9 episodes.
We do.
In series 1.
We do, yes.
And one, as I said, is up on More 4. I love a legal drama.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
I remember
We're in for a ride.
Yeah, I just remember being Law and Order and all that kind of
Yes.
stuff, and
Yes.
even things like Hill Street Blues to an extent. When I was growing up, you're too young to even know about
I was
Hill
about
Street
to
Blues.
say,
What's that? Had a great theme tune. Just that's all I'm going to say.
Oh, did it? Okay.
But there's a real, I don't know, it's something that I think people universally love watching, isn't it? That
Yes.
kind of legal sort of world and what goes on in and around it.
Yes, absolutely. And also kind of like with the jargon as well, and kind of like understanding and learning new words. And but also, yeah, there is a recipe, let's say, a formula whereby as the viewership, we know the steps that need to be taken. So there's something really reassuring about that. And yeah, no, it's fantastic to kind of be with a character episodically and see their journey through the case that we're now watching.
It's wonderful to see, you know, you as an actor in terms of what you throw your hand to, be it TV, be it film, be it theatre as well and stuff. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as well. People got any questions as well for us, please get them in on Twitter. We're at Virgin Radio UK and we'll talk more after this. That's Catfish in the Bottom. And sorry, I forgot, we were just chatting. I forgot the record's about to end. Put the mics up. Rose Leslie with us. Good morning if you are just joining us. Listen, this new series is really exciting, but the list of things that you're involved in at the minute is really exciting. We were talking about this new film, Sticky Notes.
Yes.
That is, I don't know when it's coming out, but it's you play a character called Amanda Sharp, she's a dancer,
She is indeed.
and your dad is Ray Liotta.
He is.
In this film.
Exactly.
I watched the trailer last night. It looks great.
Oh, thank you.
When did you do that?
Thank you very much. So I did that maybe about a couple of years ago. So with the fact that it's a independent project, I think it's taken a while for it to really kind of galvanise some speed and some word of mouth, I suppose.
Yeah.
And so we did that a couple of years ago in New Orleans.
Oh, wow.
Which is, yeah, really, really fabulous.
That's the thing some people I think we don't appreciate is there's sometimes the time scale between when you make a film, or and then till we finally get to see it. 'Cause
Yeah.
then you've kind of got to get back in that headspace of going, wait a minute, dancer.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. What was the relationship with her father again? What was that?
Are you
Yeah.
a natural dancer?
No. No,
Same.
they very kindly provided me with a double, and so we would when we were working on it, we would I would certainly kind of practice the dance move, but there was no way that I was natural enough to pull off somebody who really had the gift, let's say. And so we would shoot this lovely lady kind of like from in a wide shot or certainly from behind, and then they would quick cut to myself kind of like in a close-up, sweaty and kind of like breathing really hard as if I'd just done the routine. And they just like spritz a little bit of bottle of Evian water onto my face.
It was
It's
just
really
as you
sexy.
in the corner doing Running Man to get sweaty until it was your
Exactly,
moment. It's
exactly.
Rose, quick, get in, go, now.
Hit the spot and go.
Yeah, just go and be sweaty for 5 minutes until we need you for the
Easiest job ever.
Tell you what you're great at is accents as well.
Thank you.
Sarah, who works on the show, is from Hull,
Right.
and so she was like, I tell you what, Rose's northern accent is absolutely spot on.
Oh, wonderful.
She
Oh.
says, do you enjoy that part of it?
I
of
do.
Kind of,
Oh, I really do. And I think that must be kind of like subconsciously, it must be a huge element as to why I kind of wanted to go into acting in the first place. I love the idea of putting yourself into a completely different character's shoes and surprising yourself, surprising hopefully the audiences, and realising that you can just kind of like morph into someone else. And I feel that voice holds so much, obviously, so much of a person.
Yeah.
And not only that, the Northern accent is my favourite, hands down. It is so warm and welcoming, and I love doing it.
did you did you create that for Egret then? Was that something that you were like, this is how I think she would sound, or how did that kind of?
So that came about through the audition process. So I remember kind of like going in for the first round, and being told that she had a northern accent, and then just going home and kind of like practicing ferociously. And I was fortunate enough to get a second round, and so by the time that I went in, I kind of felt that I was confident enough to hopefully pull it off. But no, I was told that she had to be northern, only because of, I think within Game of Thrones, obviously you have, within Westeros, I think if you're north of the Wall, you're just going to be northern. Yeah.
But every time I say I'm not going to do it now, but every time I say Jon Snow, I have to say it with a northern accent.
Do you?
You can't just say Jon Snow, it's got to be Jon Snow.
Jon Snow.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Are you still a fan of it? Have you still been watching it when you've not been in it?
How could I not be?
I know.
Oh man, it is just so sensational. No, I am of course 100% a fan, and I watch it, and I'm an avid viewer, and very much so kind of, wanting, I'm very much looking forward to this new season and just wanting to know what happens. I make sure I don't find out.
Well, I mean, you can obviously ask Kit, but I'm sure he's not going to tell you.
But I think he would tell me, and then it would just be like fingers in, ears. Fingers in the ears, and just like, I don't want to know.
Yeah, don't tell me. Get out of the room. Leave.
Go.
Right, we've got some questions that have come in. We'll ask them after this from editors. This is Munich. Editors Munich from the back room, currently working on a new album as we speak. We were on Periscope earlier on. Rose Leslie's with us this morning. Morning, Rose.
Hello, good morning.
And we had loads of people asking questions. We're on Periscope. We do it every morning between 7 and 8. We're crazy. But it's great fun getting people's kind of thoughts and responses to things. We had so many questions from people. And it's really lovely because it's very obvious from people that they follow your career. So, they maybe discovered you on Downton Abbey, playing Gwen, and then have kind of followed everything you do. And they then generally tend to have questions about everything.
Oh, wow. Oh, man, what a privilege.
Be it Downton Abbey, be it through to Game of Thrones, but then also to The Good Fight as well. And one of the things that kind of keeps coming up is about what attracts you to the projects. Is it the scripts? Is it the character? Is it...
Oh, I would say it's an amalgamation of all those things. I most certainly, when it comes to a project, I look for the writing. I feel has to be brilliant in terms of, keeping me engrossed in not only reading it, and hopefully that then translates on screen, whereby you want to carry on watching whatever project it is. But I would say first and foremost that it's got to be the character, and I rather get drawn to characters who don't necessarily conform, whereby they don't take an obvious route and their circumstances are unpredictable, and you kind of see them flounder.
Yeah.
And then hopefully there's a happy ending whereby there's a development of self, and you see them kind of like persevere. But no, I think most certainly that it would be that kind of attracts me to you.
What was the attraction for Maya for The Good Fight?
For Maya, it was literally that, in terms of seeing this young woman who has such an urge to prove her worth, who has an incredibly privileged upbringing whereby her parents are billionaires. She is an only child, and yet she didn't seem to have an air of self-congratulation. Like she realised that one has to work to get what they want in life, and she passed her bar exam with all her peers. She managed to make it into this law firm, obviously with the help of her godmother. But there was a fighter that I kind of saw in Maya, particularly with the development of the rest of the episodes, that I was very kind of like intrigued on where she would go, and so I really wanted to play her, and to show somebody with kind of core strength. I mean, she went through a lot. She has gone through a lot in the first season, and as a result, I kind of thought that would be very interesting to play.
I love that when she's waiting for her bar results. She's literally at the computer like that.
Yeah. We have all been there with like A levels. I mean, we've all been there. Yeah.
The first 2 episodes are up actually if you head to Channel 4's website, and the third airs on Thursday night at 9 o'clock. It's called The Good Fight. Thank you so much for being here today. It's
Thank
an
you.
absolute pleasure
And
to meet you and chat to you, and come back and we'll tell you next
Please
time
do.
Bears Den are playing. I'm so
you
sorry
must.
you missed them yesterday.
Exactly. I'm going to have to go over to where they were playing.
Lie on
and
the
just kind of
couch for
breathe the
5
air.
minutes where they were, and then you'll be absolutely fine. Thanks for being here. Great
Thank
to
you,
chat to
Edith.
you. Thanks a lot.
Virgin Radio.